Hey everyone, long time no see. My name is Leann and this is my channel, Small Town Stitches. It has been about a month and a half since my last update. It has been quite some time. This is Flosstube 110, if I didn't say. I'm very out of practice. It's been a month and a half. And all I can say is life. So I hope you are doing well. If you are returning, welcome back. Thanks for coming to hang out with me again. And if you are new, welcome. I hope you kind of enjoy the projects that you see and consider sticking around and subscribing. So I have so many notes, and by so many notes, I mean like so many notes. So grab some stitching, grab some knitting, crochet, whatever kind of crafty thing you choose to do. Make dinner, clean, I don't know. We'll have to see how long this is. I have a drink here personally. I have spent so much time today organizing. I had this idea yesterday to rearrange like our office area thing and move Bella's drum set upstairs into my craft room and move her keyboard downstairs, which she is currently taking lessons on. She wanted to switch it up. So that way it's just easier. It gives us more room down there. So in turn, today we brought it up here and I had to rearrange my entire craft room. I got rid of some stuff just was needing to get rid of, but instead of a craft room, I have a craft corner. So I have this wall that you see, which I have fabric like that I use for bags and stuff here. This is my pattern storage. I have extra yarn here, my floss, and down here kind of behind my back is fabric. And then these are my projects that I am not talking about right now. And then kind of, you know, right across from me right here is my desk. And that's my craft room now instead of a whole room. So this is the smallest room in the house. But for right now, I was willing to sacrifice that. Again, it was my idea because it gives us more living space downstairs and that's more needed than up here. I don't stitch in my craft room. It's mainly storage / my sewing when I do sew. All right, let's catch up. Last video was end of June. So if you do not like life updates, I will try to put down here when I start talking about stitching. I'm the type of person who absolutely loves people's life updates because I view them as like sitting and talking to a friend. So the more the merrier for me. Okay, so last we talked, Bella was still in school because it was June 1st. Obviously that is done because today is June 5th or July 15th. So she finished 2nd grade. We're done. She is now going into 3rd grade in the fall. And I know in the last couple videos I've asked for people's prayers because we had a decision that we were really, I wouldn't say struggling to make, but we needed to make, especially before the end of school. And we did, with much talking and praying and stuff like that. And starting in the fall, Bella will be homeschooled. She was doing very well in school. She is my little social butterfly, but she does very well academically as well. And we just felt that was a decision that we needed to make as a family. I'm not saying that she will indefinitely always be homeschooled. That would be my plan, but ultimately every year we will kind of reassess and pray about it and see kind of what we think she should do. So I have been doing research, and then you watch so many YouTube videos on it, and this person says this works and this person says this doesn't work, and everyone's opinions contradict each other, and in the end I was driving myself mad. Truly, I was driving myself crazy. And my husband and my mom were like, you need to just stop stop watching the videos. It's helpful to a point, but then it becomes to the point where you're so confused and you feel like you're failing or doing something wrong if you don't do what this person says and does what so I kind of just am flying by the seat of my pants. So we have, what do I have in so far? I have all her math, which we've already started in the summer. And we're kind of just, and I'm not making her do tests during the summer, but we're doing like a lesson a day type thing to just keep that math up. So we have her math, we have her history, I have her spelling, I have her science that we are going to use. I need to get her English. I need to get her workbook that goes along with her reading program that we're gonna do. She'll still do music. I'd like to put her in some swimming lessons this fall. So it'd be like socializing / PE / I would really like her to learn how to swim. So lots of changes coming around here, and what little bit of free time I have, it's going to kind of go out the window. And I do work full-time still. Thankfully I work full-time from home. But I explained to her, some days if I'm really busy with work, the subjects that we do together will be done either at night, mostly, and stuff like that. So it'll just be a little bit different. And she is excited about it. She's more so excited the fact that she can kind of help. So for her science, there are unit studies that we're going to be doing. And she was able to kind of help pick which kind of unit studies she wanted to do. So she's very excited about that, and liking that we can watch documentaries and stuff like that as part of science to kind of elaborate on what we're learning in our textbook. And there's so much. So I'm hoping to plan and to do a homeschool curriculum / kind of dive in as to why, I guess, on my other channel. I have not filmed it yet, but if you're interested, just kind of check back for that. So that was kind of to tie into me. I've been kind of like down in the dumps and like depressed this past month and a half. So I haven't wanted to film a Flosstube video. I'm excited for the homeschool, but like I said, it's taken a lot out of me, and I've done so much research, and I mean so much research, it's not even funny. Because I was homeschooled, but things have changed so incredibly much. And there's so many different options to pick from than there was when I was a kid. But on top of that, as you know, I'm an avid gardener, and my garden is not doing well this year. And that's kind of, I think, where a little bit of the depression is coming in. We have a deer problem this year. We have lived in this house for 11 years. We have deer that come through the backyard, but they have never touched my garden. I mean, ever. And this year, for some reason, not only are they touching it, they're eating the entire freaking thing. So we went on vacation, which I kind of filmed a little snip in a video on my other channel. And we went to Tawas, and it was so nice to get away. But I was terrified to come home and see what is going to happen to my garden. And I shouldn't even checked when we came home, because it instantly just made me start crying. It ruined my cucumber plants. They're still trying a little bit, like the bottom portion, but it ate the entire tops off of them. It ate my peppers. It ate my tomatoes. It ate my lettuce, my spinach. It ate my zucchini. It's still trying to make a comeback, and it's still trying to eat the leaves. And now it's eating the leaves off my beans. So now we have to figure out, because Brent, my husband, does not want to fence in that part of the yard on the side, because that's our only access to our backyard, that we can like drive like a truck back there, because our septic field runs on the other side. So now we have to start planning for next year. Do we move the garden beds and put a gigantic fence around it? That's kind of what I'm leaning towards, like putting them in the back of the backyard. But when you are a big gardener like I am, I've been struggling, y'all, mentally a little bit because of it. and I would love to tell you I could just shake it off, move on, and find a farmer stand, but I grow all my stuff from seed. So when you spend all your time since February, March on caring for these seeds that become these plants, and this deer just comes and eats it, I'd be lying if I said I was doing okay. So other than that, we went on vacation. That was very nice. We had a couple storms. We did go farther up north, about 2.5 hours, and it never hit over 70. So like my daughter was swimming in the pool at the campground, and they got in the water, which they're nuts because I was on the beach in a sweatshirt when they went in the water. It only lasted like 40 minutes, but yeah, I was all excited. I finally found a swimsuit and found one that made me feel comfortable and that I was comfortable in. And then I never even went swimming because it was just colder up there. And then when we left Tawas to come home, it was 69 degrees. And when we got home to our house, it was 82. I'm like, why couldn't it have been 82 up there so I could have swum? But I digress. So the last thing that I have to talk about is, I know I had shared a while ago, couple months ago, probably more than a couple months ago, that my husband was interviewing for a full-time fire spot at our fire department and he didn't get it. Well, they went back to the board and asked for 2 new full-time spots, and they went down the list, and it was up to my husband and one other guy that they were wanting to fill these spots with. So they had to take what's called an OPAT test, and you have like 10 minutes to do this, and it is a lot to do. Before the test is you have to go up 5 stories, not flights, because each story had 2 different flights of stairs. So 5 stories, so 10 different flights of stairs, up and down, carrying a giant roll of the hosing that they do. So that was one thing. And then the other one was the big old ladder trucks that you see, the fire trucks. They had to go all the way up and back down. And then the timing started for everything else. So he was very, very worried that he wasn't going to pass, because he's had knee surgery on his meniscus on both knees. And he slayed it, y'all. He slayed it. He had 10 minutes to finish, and he finished in 7 minutes and 30 seconds. 2.5 minutes to spare. So he did amazing. We are so proud of him. He is now a full-time firefighter paramedic. He actually goes back to work tomorrow, so he's finishing his 4-day off. So we're so proud of him. It's kind of nice to have that consistency, and actually being full-time, we actually have him home more than we did when he was working part-time, because now he does like 24-hour shifts every single time instead of 12s. So instead of working every day in the week 12 hours a piece, and we never saw him, really, he works like 3 24-hour shifts, which is still like a lot, 72 hours in a week. But we're very excited. So lots of changes in this house. So many. So many. And it's enough to make you want to take a nap. But they're good changes. They really are. So I'm very, very, very happy with, the changes in our house. It's just a lot. So are you guys ready to talk stitching now? Let's talk some stitching. So I have June's projects and what I have done so far in July. So if you are new to my channel, I do not really iron my projects while I'm working on them. So you're gonna have to deal with hoop marks and things being on hoops because I didn't take them all off. If I have previous pictures, I will insert them. I typically try to insert pictures of the artwork, what it will look like, and where I was beforehand, but I'm not sure I have the before pictures on every project because it has been a month and a half. All right, so my total stitch count for the month of June was 10,509. I've worked on 9 projects that I have to show you, and I actually wrote the percentages that they're at now. I don't know if I have them before. So, all right, let's do this. So for the first project, I have Mini Sunflower Cottage. This is by Donna Gelsinger. If you are new, I love Donna Gelsinger projects. Something about her artwork just speaks to me. So this project actually came up in June and in July. Okay, so I just went through my camera roll and found which ones I have pictures of and which ones I do not. So I do have a picture of Mini Sunflower Cottage. So I'm gonna insert where I was before. And I spun this in June and in July. So I had reset my wheel that I use, my spinning wheel, at the end of June, and then it came up again in July. So I did 574 stitches in June, 568 stitches in July. So I did a total of 1,142 stitches. And this is where I am now. Let me put something behind my other piece. There we go. So I'm at 12.58%. So I have done, I can't see it over here, a lot. I've done so many different colors over here filling in, and I've kind of been, something I've been liking lately is to take the thread, and if I can count through it all, work the whole thing through. So I had, I think, this done a little bit. So this is like 5 or 6 colors up in just this area. So I've just been taking it all throughout. So 1,142 stitches have been added on this piece in 2 months. And this is page 2. All right. Now where to put them when I'm done with them so they don't get in the way. All right, I'm gonna kind of mark stuff off as we go. So, all right, next is a project that I am working on with so many lovely girls. I don't wanna just start naming people because I will be the person that misspeaks and forgets somebody, and that is the last thing that I want to do. But this is Church for All Seasons. This is a Charting Creations. It's my only Charting Creations. I do have a picture of where this was. Again, I worked on this in June and in July. I actually just finished it. I got 4 days in July. I'm kind of retweaking and moving some of my projects around because I'll explain later. So I have a whopping total for 2 months of 799 stitches. I got 231 in June and 568 in July. This is where I am. So the exciting thing is this is the corner of page 1. So I have been working on all of that. There's so many light colors in here, and they're actually showing up pretty well, which makes me so happy. But it makes it so when you're stitching on them, they're so light, it's very hard to see. But that's where we're at. This piece is not super long, but it's very, very wide. So makes it a little weird. All right. That piece is at 0.76% so far. All right. Next we get to show you Shire, the Shire painting. This is an Etsy pattern. And I do, I believe, have a before picture of this. This was only stitched in June, and I got a total of 477 stitches on it, and it is at 1.16% right now. I do have a before picture. And this is where we're at. So there's so much confetti in this. It's gonna look amazing when it's done. But It's a pain in the butt, and everybody has mentioned how much of a pain in the butt it is stitching. Sorry, because this one was my influence. Sorry. Church for All Seasons, I'm pretty sure we can blame Angie Fully Crafts for that one. I think that was hers. And then Alicia got me on board. So, this is where we're at. I love this piece. It's so nice to stitch, like especially if you end up getting churches and Shire together, because my church I'm stitching in the, like the clouds and in the sky, and so I have super light, like 37, 47, and I don't even remember, 30, I think 72 is the one I was using. And then you have this one that has the dark greens and all this stuff, so it's such a nice contrast. So that was already number 3. I'm gonna have so much stuff to clean up. All right, next I do have a before picture of this one. This is my ink circles piece, and I have completely left this on a hoop, so give me 5 seconds. But this is my Circus of Circles. I have already done Circus of Tiles, which I have put away, of course. Let me take this off the hoop so I can show it to you guys. But so I did 537 stitches on this in the month of June. I do have a before picture for it. And I am on page 2. And here we are. So I'm really liking this. So this is an unnamed, I think it's from Dying for Cross Stitch. I'm pretty positive. And then the floss is actually from Dying for Cross Stitch too. Both of them are unnamed. So this is where I got to. I don't have a percentage for that one because it is a paper pattern. And don't work on that one on Pattern Keeper. Okay. Next, there's almost even no point on me showing this to you because I forgot to tell you something in life updates. So school ended on a Wednesday or a Thursday. I don't remember. So on that Friday, a couple days after school, we ate dinner outside after my husband came home from work, and my husband and my daughter started playing, I think, a game of Go Fish. And I looked at them and I'm like, are you guys cold? I'm really cold. And my husband's like, you're crazy. It's like 78 outside. I went inside and got a jacket because I was cold. Well, later on that night, my throat started hurting. And then I spiked a fever. So ever since I had COVID back in 2021, anytime I kind of get sick, I always spike a fever now, which is weird because I never did before. So I was like, well, that's kind of crappy. So then Saturday I was literally laid on the couch all day, which it takes a lot to put me down. My throat hurt, I couldn't swallow. I had a temperature of like 101, which I tend to run a little bit lower. I kind of run at like 97. So when I am 101, I'm like burning. So that Sunday we didn't go to church. My husband had to work and I just felt like crap. And he got home that night and he was like, you're swollen. I had like a goiter right here that you could visibly see how swollen like my glands were from the outside. And then Monday morning he was like, all right, it's time for you to go get checked out. Like it's just getting more and more swollen. You get checked out. So I called my doctor. My doctor, of course, wasn't in on a Monday. And she's like, the other doctors here are completely booked. I recommend you go to urgent care. And I'm like, I hate urgent cares. And she's like, oh, there's one that's affiliated with us. It's in Walgreens, or Walgreens actually. So I was like, okay. So I talked to the rest of the nurses. They were like, go get checked out. So I went over there. They got me right in, and the nurse was like, I'm worried that it could be strep, because it's not strep season, but for some reason strep is going around. And I'm like, at this point, I don't care what it is. I just want to know, so that way we can like get this ball rolling and get over this. So they tested me for strep, and it came back positive. And I told them, I was like, I've never had strep in my life. And the nurse practitioner, she is probably 100% correct, said, you probably did have strep in your life. You've just toughed it off thinking you have a sore throat and just dealt with it. And it's probably 100% accurate. So they gave me the antibiotic for it, which I believe the antibiotic typically given for that is amoxicillin. So within 24 hours of having the antibiotic, I was already starting to feel better. I could eat for like the first time in 4 days, but it was just crazy. I looked at my husband and my daughter and I said, I don't know which one of you brought this home as like a last hurrah, but as one of you, whether it be from somebody like a patient and Brent brought germs home from work, or Bella brought them home as a final thing from school, one of them brought them home, and I'm the one who got sick from them because they were fine. So long story short of saying that Rose Cross was supposed to be stitched during that whole time and it didn't happen. When my Flosstube Extra, the unboxing from my Heaven and Earth Designs kit that I said my throat was sore, that was during that time. So, and I didn't take it off a hoop because I'm awesome like that. So, I have a whopping 100 stitches that I added to it. You can't tell, but here we are. Like, you can't even tell. But it's 100 stitches, and it's still at 0.98%. So this has less stitches, but still more percentage than Church's. So, and I need a backtrap. Mini Sunflower Cottage is stitched on an 18 count, just so you know. Church for All and that is a 2/1 on 18 count. Church for All Seasons is on a 22 count, that is 1/1 full cross. Shire is also on a 22 count, 1/1 full cross. Ink Circles is 18 count, 2/1. And then Rose Cross, I restarted this, if you remember, and this is a 1/1 on 22 count. If you can't tell, I really like 22 count. All right. Next we have Autumn Blessing. This is by Shannon Christine Designs. This was my new start in 2022. I stitched it along with Heather, who used to have a YouTube channel and she got rid of it, but she is on Instagram as The Blessed Stitcher. I got a lot. So this came up on my wheel, and then I was looking for something simple to take on vacation that I didn't need a bunch of stuff. I didn't want to take a full coverage on vacation because with 2 dogs and in a camper, and we packed everything in the truck, plus all 3 of us, plus both dogs, plus all their stuff, all stuff. I didn't need to take up a bunch of room. So I brought this with me. So it got worked on 2 different times in the month of June, and got a total of 1,920 stitches. This is at 89.83%. So I'm so excited. This is actually set. I'm going to start working on this tonight. So my goal for this month is to finish this project because I have 1 more block left to do. Here we are. So excited. So in the month of June, when I was up on my rotation, I finished this block, which you can see them. You can't really see it. If you can see the little speckles, the white stitches, those are in these ones too. It's B5200, but you just can't see it as well. So I finished this one for the rotation, and then we went camping. I did this one. I think it's so cute, you guys. I love that blue pumpkin. So I have 1 more over here, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it's a smaller one. I don't know if it's this small, but these were kind of alike, and I don't know if those were kind of alike, or I'm not sure, but I have one more and then I'm done, and I'm so excited. It's so stinking cute. This will be framed and probably in this craft corner room. It's up to me to still decorate this room, so I love this piece. And then when I am done with this piece, I wasn't going to start another Shannon Christine before I finished this one, which, why, I don't know, because, you know, it's not like I do that with full coverages. I have another one waiting. Hold on. Okay. I have another one waiting to start. I'm doing the Christmas club that I talked about before. I haven't started any of them. So I have all of my floss and my fabric ready to go. So if I finish that one early and I still have some of my days left, it gets 5 days, I may start this one, or I may just move on to something else and leave this as a new start option for later. Okay. My last project that I stitched when we came home from vacation, it's still on a hoop. Y'all, I'm telling you. I had an urge to stitch, or to film after we reorganized downstairs and we reorganized up here in this room. And I was like, oh, I have an urge. I should just do it because I haven't done this in a month and a half. But this is Namisto. I'm doing it in 3 different colorways, which is why that pattern is kind of color coded. This is at 26.21% now, and I only added 140 stitches, so I didn't get super far. Kind of disappointed, but again, it's been a really crazy month and a half. But this is all we're at. I don't know how many sounds you're picking up from outside. It was really hot in this room earlier, so I had the fan on in the window on exhaust, even though we have air. But the neighbors across from us are having a party, so hopefully the mic isn't picking up a lot of that and you're not hearing it. So this is where we're at. We're just working on this section right here. I did get this in Pattern Keeper, but all the symbols are the same, so it has it as a monochrome design. So I just kind of keep I kind of write what I'm going to do and what color above the sections, so I just kind of keep it handy and work at it. I like it in Pattern Keeper. It makes it go a lot faster. So there's my 140 stitches on Namisto. All right, now we have 2 more projects left. My focus piece and my daily 30. And both of them are on hoops, I can tell you that now. So talk amongst yourselves. I did decide to bring the daily 30 back into play as of right now. Whether I can keep it there or not is a whole nother discussion. Because with just school starting in the fall and, you know, work and stuff, I try to get up earlier than my family. I try to get up with my husband when he goes to work. So I try to be up at 4:45 when he goes to work on those days, just so I can see him. And then on days that I don't have to, I try to be up between like 6 and 6:30, just so I can have some time to do my Bible listening and like some stitching with some coffee and stuff on my own before everybody wakes up. It's kind of my me time. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes other people wake up and it doesn't happen. Okay, so I don't know if I had a picture of where this was last time, because I don't think I took a picture of it. But I have done so far in the month of July 1,218 stitches. I did get a page finish. So I'm up here now. If you can remember, we weren't. So this is all 939. Up here, like I said, I'm kind of enjoying just taking it and doing color by page, a cross country by page per, you know, for the color. But here we are. I have finished this page down here. This is on a 20 count 2/1. So it gets very bulky. But I'm so loving the detail. So pretty. So pretty. So much to go. This is my oldest piece, which is why I think I keep bringing it for the daily 30, just so it's constantly getting work, but love it. This is where it's at. So we're going to keep working on this corner page. So at least that page has this piece has a page finish this year. All right, now is my big focus piece. And I will do you guys the honors of taking it off the hoop for you. I do have a thing on it. But Halloween night, as of right now, is at 28.60% right now. Kind of tucking floss away because I had a color started. But I do have a picture of where this was last time. So this is Beginner T-Rex by David Penfound, and it is a Heaven and Earth Designs. I have a picture of where you last saw it because I had just gotten a page finish. So this piece, I stitched on it, of course, in June and July. And in June, I got 6,047 stitches. And so far in July, I'm at 3,680. So since last time, I got 9,727 stitches in since you guys have last seen this piece. I have another page finish, and I'm getting close to another one. You ready? Here we are. So I have done the page right here with all the birds that you can't really see. They kind of blend in. But there's one here, 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 and then the ones over here that you can see a little bit better because it's on a lighter blue. And then this is a tree. So many different shades of everything in this tree. So much confetti. But I'm kind of taking it and just running the color all the way down. I don't know why. I'm enjoying it right now. My stitching, I can do anything from stitching in rows, stitching in diagonals, or stitching cross country by color. And this is kind of what I'm liking right now. So this is what we're rolling with. So this is the last full page in this row. And then I think we have like a half. We have a partial. And then we'll be done with row 1. So, and then we'll move down. I think we're doing it typewriter style. So I think when we come down here, we're going to start over here again. So my daughter's very excited to see this coming to life, which is why it's a focus piece, because I don't know how long she's going to be obsessed with dinosaurs. She's already obsessed with 700 other things, whether that be Harry Potter, Pokemon. All right, those are my pages. You guys have been around for a long time, and you knew my secret piece for my husband. I have finally, nothing like cutting it short, ordered a frame for it the last couple days. Speaking of that piece, when we were in here, I knew my husband was going to be here when I was in here organizing, so I ran and hid his piece in my dresser drawer with my pants. That's where it's at right now, so he won't mess with it. But that's on its way. I ordered it, the frame through American Frame, which I've ordered multiple frames from them before. And I splurged and got museum glass for that one instead of regular glass like I do, because that one is probably going to go above the fireplace, is my thinking. That's where all his like fire stuff is. So, all right. Purchases. I don't know if I have any purchases. I haven't really been buying stuff. No, I have if I can put a picture, I bought a Pikachu cross stitch pattern that I would like to do for my daughter. When, I don't know, because it's a lot of yellow. But I did buy that from Etsy. All right. Plans. So on the 25th, Rainey and myself and Alicia has a different one. I always forget which piece she has, but we are going to be starting the mini nativity. So I will have 2 Christmas pieces to stitch on every month. They want to do it on the 25th every month, and then on the 24th and 25th I usually work on my stocking. So plans need to kind of interchange on those couple days, but I'm excited. So I already have the kit, so there's nothing much I really need to do other than grab a hoop for those pieces. And then I will continue to just spin my wheel. So I have the Tiny Decisions wheel app. All my pieces, minus beginner T-Rex, are in there. And when they come up, I just work on them. I've been giving them about 5 days each. So I kind of just work on them. And it's working really well. I get progress on all my pieces. So I guess I'm a stitcher that kind of needs direction and some sort of structure too. So I'm going to continue doing that for right now. So that is all the stitching that I have. If you are into book talk, I have quite a few books to talk about that I have listened to. So if you are just here for the stitching, you can go ahead and sign out if you want, but I'm going to share kind of the audiobooks that I've been doing, because I know multiple people that are stitchers love listening to books or reading too. So I went back into the last video that I was and watched what books I talked about, so I knew what books to continue talking about or that needed to be talked about. So my daughter and I were reading the first Harry Potter. We were reading Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. She has never seen the movies either. I wanted her to read the book and then watch the movie so she can see, compare and contrast the difference between the book and the movie. So we have finished Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. She was able to watch, the first movie. Then we have finished Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which is year 2, and she watched that movie and she is obsessed with that movie right now. Like, I mean, I liked the movies before, but I'm pretty sure I can quote every single line in my sleep right now. So now we are on the 3rd chapter of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which is year 3. So we're kind of sailing through those, and she is obsessed and loving with them. So that's the first one. All right, things that Mom's been listening to. So the first one I have, and I'm going to kind of insert like a picture of what the covers look like for you guys too, if you guys are interested in reading them, is The Things We Cannot Say. This is by Kelly Rimmer. This is a World War II story about a girl named Alina, and kind of about her family and all her. This book made me cry. It's very good, but it still made me cry, just so you know. But I highly recommend. You'll kind of sense a theme of things that I like here. More documentaries. That's kind of my thing. Second, I listened to What If Love Is the Point? Living for Jesus in a Self-Consumed World. This is by Carlos and Alexa Penavega. If you remember Spy Kids, the original movies, the girl kid, that is Alexa. That's the character she played. And then I never watched this band. I think they were it's just something I never did. I don't know if it was after my time of this, but Carlos was in Big Time Rush. He was a member of that group. Again, I've never listened to them, but they are married and have, I think, 3 children now. So that was actually a really good book. It was kind of like their story separately and their struggles and marrying, and it was good. Recommend. Next is Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. This is by Susan Cain. This is different than my normal style of book, and it was so good, so informational. And some of the stuff in there, like, I don't remember, it was saying something about a lot of people who you assume are extroverts are truly introverts who have learned how to fake it being outgoing, because they know that's what society expects of them. And I looked at my husband and I said, I feel called out. I feel like that was me, because people tell me all the time they don't think I'm an introvert. And if I really am comfortable with you, I'll have a conversation with you all day long. But that doesn't mean it doesn't take a toll out of me. And then when I go home or get in my truck to leave, or my husband's truck to leave, I'm just like, oh, like I just feel drained, you know? That was a very good book. I recommend that one too. All right, I have a couple more. Next, it was Teacher of Warsaw. This is by Mario Escobar. This is about a teacher from a Jewish orphanage in World War II. And if you have a chance, if you like kind of the World War II, that era and genre of books, Mario Escobar writes some good ones. I've talked about a couple of his before. I think at least one previously. So I recommend his work. Next is The Happiest Man on Earth. This is by Eddie Jaku. And you guys, this man's view on life before he died, he went through hell, literally. He was a prisoner in the Nazi concentration camps. I literally recommend. Everyone literally described him as the happiest man ever. He had such a positive outlook on life and so much to be thankful for, and it was a very good listen. Next is The Dressmakers of Auschwitz. This is by Lucy Addington, and it is exactly that. These women were not put in like labor as we typically hear about in the Nazi concentration camps. They literally sewed dresses for the soldiers' wives and stuff like that. Like that was their job that they were given, because they were seamstresses. So Flosstube itchy nose. But it was good. I recommend that one too. The Last Secret of the Secret Annex. That was a good book. So I know everyone has heard about the group of people that hid Anne Frank and her family, and this is about the story of Bep, who is the female that we don't hear as much about. She was closer in age to Anne Frank. She was kind of Anne Frank's confidant in a lot of ways, and kind of the backstory of who they think heard from that kind of gave them away to the Nazis, Anne Frank's family. The next is The Red Head of Auschwitz. This is a true story. I just finished listening to this not too long ago, and it was very well written. I listened to a lot of it on audiobooks, most of these because I listen while I work. I just thought of Snow White. But that was a very good book. That was my last of my World War II books that I've been listening to. The next is The Church of Lies by Flora Jessup. And if anyone knows anything about the FLDS, they know the name Jessup. So that is something I've also interested in. I learn about the FLDS, about the messed up situation that goes on there. This is a story about a girl who grew up in the FLDS and kind of the stuff that happened to her that should never happen to a young child ever. And her story of getting out and now her life's mission of helping others get out. So that was a very good book. And I am currently listening to Unspeakable, and this is by Jessica Willis Fisher. So I don't know if anyone remembers the Willis family. They were a group of musicians. I think they were on America's Got Talent. And then there was a whole big controversy with the dad and all this stuff. And dad's in jail for like 40 years and all this stuff like that for things that should never be done, if you get what I'm saying. But this is the oldest daughter's story. And I'm going to put a disclaimer, just like I'm going to put a disclaimer for Church of Lies. If you listen to it on audiobook, do not listen to it around children. There's stuff that they do not need to hear in those books, and it's kind of hard to even listen to as an adult. So just as my little kind of pre-warning type thing, but I can't say it's very good, because like, how do you describe some of that abuse that someone has gone through as a very good book? But it's very well written, I would say, and I'm still in her childhood. She's only like 10 right now in the book, so I have a long way to go, but I'm interested in seeing how it evolves, because I believe she was the main person that called the authorities on her dad. So those are all the books that I have listened to since last time. There is a lot, and that is actually all from me. I told you it was going to be a long one for me. So I will continue spinning the wheel. What else? Husband goes back to work tomorrow. I need to do, tonight for dinner we're doing crunch wraps. We're doing easy. But I found a mimic for, do you remember McDonald's, how they used to do the steak, egg, and cheese bagels? We found a dupe recipe for that, and we've been doing that with like the sauce and stuff, and I think my husband's wanting one for breakfast tomorrow. So we gotta cook the steak and stuff up. He stopped and got some. So all right, I guess that's all from me, you guys. Thanks for, if you've hung around this long, thanks for kind of spending some time with me. Like I said, kind of in my depressed state over my vegetable garden. I've been kind of in the throes of, should I even do this anymore? Because I just lose, it seems like every video I post, I just lose more and more people. I know I'm a little bit different than others, and I've been kind of, should I even do this? Does anyone even want to listen to this? Is this just for me? You know, so if you've stuck around this long, thank you. I appreciate it. I know there's so much else you could be doing with your day, so many other people you could be watching, but truly from the bottom of my heart, thank you. It means a lot to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my little corner of this room now, and I guess go tackle some more stuff that needs to be done. So just remember, you guys, your mental health is important, and to take time for yourself each and every day in whatever form that is. Mine is stitching 9 times out of 10. So remember to be a light to the world around you, because it is so, so needed. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys later.